Hello guys, this is Joshua Horse. As you can tell by the time I'm doing this review for the movie Spider-Man Far From Home. Can I just say that poster is really lame? Oh, I believe this was the poster, but it's also the cover of this movie. It's really lame. It's just like three people standing in a particular pose with the main character in the middle and more up front. Like, it's so lame. Like, let's just compare it even to the last movie. That is a more unique than that. Like, that is at least him swinging across with Iron Man. This is just him standing there. This at least looks a little bit cooler. You guys probably don't care about it. I'm just gonna put it in my bed. But for someone who collects DVDs, because I prefer physical copies of stuff, of films, that really bugs me out. Work on your covers. Anyway, overall thoughts on this film, really good film. I enjoy the film. I feel like it's a really good passing of the torch film from Iron Man to Spider-Man in terms of the main lead for these MCU movies in the future. So, as you know, for these last 11 years, Iron Man... I'm going to be mentioning some spoilers for Endgame, because you have to with this kind of movie. So spoilers for Endgame are starting now, and I'll go back to them. So let me just start the camera. I'll go back to them throughout the video. So this was kind of the passing of the torch from Iron Man to Spider-Man, as we all know. In Avengers Endgame, Iron Man dies in a huge, incredibly cool sacrifice. So he's been basically the head of the MCU for the last 11 years. And by the looks of this film, they're giving that role to Tom Holland Spider-Man. And personally, I think that's a really good decision, because Spider-Man is a teenager. As a teenager, we can relate to him. And that's really good for the future of the MCU, because they're planned, like, they've got the next 5 years planned in concrete, and the next 5 years after that, they've got a rough idea. So they have basically an idea for the next 10 years. And I feel like Spider-Man is a great character to lead it, because you have that generation that Spider-Man connects to. It's like my generation. And so you could have those new hardcore fans growing up watching these movies, experiencing these adventures because of this movie. A bit like how Iron Man was at the start. They had a guy you loved back like 10 years ago, to 11 years ago. Those core fans stayed with you the entire time. Given that role to Spider-Man is really good, because it's kind of a younger generation, and you've made sure that they're going to be Marvel fans for at least the next 10 or so years before they conclude Spider-Man's arc. Which I think is really cool, because they're doing one more home trilogy, you could say. They've confirmed this third Spider-Man home movie, and it's going to be basically it's going to be like at the end of his high school years, these first three Spider-Man films. And I think what they might be doing 3 more extra years for his years in college, which is a bit weird, because in the UK, high school is college, and we have university. But in America, after you do high school, you then go to college, which is like our university. So it's really weird. But yeah, so I have a feeling I might do 3 extra films for that. So we're looking at a good 6 movies, which I'm rambling with something that isn't even a film, but I just feel like Spider-Man, because of how much I believe personally as a member of the new generation, how much he appeals to that generation, is a perfect character to be your main character for like the next 10 years or so. Done with that family, let's just go on with the actual film. Good film. Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal and Mysterio, I like him. He's really good. Of course, we know, comic book fans know he's the villain. We just know this. All comic book fans know this. So, and here's one of his characters in this film. My biggest gripe about this film is that because of the character they were presenting in this film for the first chunk, they should have actually kept him as the hero and had another villain. I feel like even if you had him for at least one more movie, then he turns evil, then you can have it. But I just kind of feel like he worked, especially for this film, worked better as the good guy than the bad guy. But you can see where it's coming from as the bad guy. So he was still an enjoyable bad guy. I like the way they used the illusion kind of thing, but made it link into the MCU. I really like that. This was Mysterio's first time in a Spider-Man movie of any sort, which was really good because people consider him one of the top villains of the fact that he's never been in a movie for until 2019 when this thing came out last year. It's kind of insane. Nick Fury's in this film. Nick Fury's great. He's a really good mentor guy. So, yeah, they of course mention situations in Endgame. You always talk. Of course, they're going to talk about Iron Man. It's literally the first film to take place after Endgame and to come out after Endgame, which is probably why this film did so well. It got $1 billion. So yeah. So of course they're going to mention it. People do complain that it feels like more like Spider-Man's going to be the new Iron Man, which I don't think he's going to be. I think he's just going to be himself, but as the lead of the MCU. He makes a lot of mistakes in this film, which a lot of people don't like. Like, he makes a lot of stupid mistakes like teenagers would make, but that's why I like it. He's a human. He makes stupid mistakes because we all make stupid mistakes. So, yeah, it was a pretty fun movie. Basically, what happened is Spider-Man is going on a field school trip, and coincidentally, everyone who's been erased 5 years ago are all his friends, so they come back with him. So, yeah, basically got to start his life again for 5 years. They do some jokes about it, like when a Spider-Man's class makes his drinking alcohol, but he's actually 16, not 21. So when I find out he takes the alcohol, I think that's a good old joke. They have a joke that although Spider-Man's year was halfway through their school year, they had to start their year all over again. It was mainly just small jokes. It didn't really have a huge, not like huge effect. There are some other effects as well. Like there's apparently Aunt May's running a charity to help people who've lost their homes after coming back after 5 years, because that happened to her. That kind of stuff. And the real thing is, Aunt May, considering Spider-Man's, because we know from Homecoming, basically Spider-Man, Aunt May finds out that Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Considering he's risking his life all the time and nearly dying, Aunt May's completely fine with it. It's like, yeah, you can kill her. You're doing a good cause, which I kind of like. It's not just like going, oh, you shouldn't do this. It's not safe. She's like, no, I implored you. You're helping people. You're saving people. You're being a good person. The post-credit scenes are really good, one in particular, but both of them were really good thinking about the future, especially for Spider-Man. I was just like, whoa, like, geez, when I first found out about it, because I didn't find out in the cinema because I was an idiot and didn't stay for the post-credit scene. But yeah, when I found out about it, I was like, geez, like, that's a big bombshell. So yeah, I feel like I've been talking about more about the future and Spider-Man character instead of the actual film. But yeah, there is a relationship between MJ, played by Zendaya, and Tom Holland's Spider-Man, so they have a relationship there. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was fine. It wasn't really the main focus. It was the main focus for Peter Parker, but not for Spider-Man. And I kind of like that he's getting suppressed with opportunities and what the responsibility he knows he has, but he just wants to be a normal kid. So you kind of balance those things out, which I thought was really cool, because who wouldn't want to be? Like, he's still matured, and he's been a superhero at the same time. He wants to be able to do both, but you've got to kind of prioritize and try and do both to the best of your ability. And that's what I think he does in this film. It was, so, yeah. Overall, it's the best Spider-Man film I've seen, and I've seen Spider-Man 2. Considered the greatest Spider-Man film, but I only saw it once and I wasn't a big fan of it. I feel like I've talked more about the future than the actual movie, but there you go. Overall, I would give this film an 8.3 out of 10. It was a really strong movie. I really had a lot of fun with it. So, yeah. The next couple of reviews are going to be like some smaller reviews. Like, I'm planning on doing a review for Venom, because apparently I heard that's a really funny film, and Suicide Squad because that's part of the DC extended universe. So yeah, there's that. But apart from that, not much. I feel like unless I get any more big DVDs for big films or another way of watching them, I feel like I'm gonna take a break. And you're getting this in like September, so and I'm filming this back in July, so yeah. But I feel like you're gonna get a bit of a break from these film reviews for now long, just because I don't want people to think this is only a film review channel. But yeah, overall I give it 8.3 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Phase 3 with our solo there is the best phase. There's all the films in this film are really good. It's not like Phase 1, but there's some good films. There's some passable films. And Phase 2 had the worst film, Iron Man 3, which is fine, it's watchable, but yeah. So that's it. You should also be getting soon, that's it for this video. You should also get me soon my ranking for all the MCU Phase 3 movies. If I was gonna do all 23 movies, it would have to be something like a big live stream. I don't know. So, maybe even do it with a friend, I don't know. But yeah, so soon, I don't know when you will get my ranks for all the MCU Phase 3 films. Even if I don't do it for a while, I write my scores here on this little notebook. Mainly for my YouTube for stuff. So, yeah, and my Phase 1 and Phase 2 sheets need falling apart. So, yeah. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me in the comment section below what you thought of this film. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel I haven't yet, turn notifications on so you never miss a video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys!